Yo, it's blessed, man. It's your boy TopAngel here at the RichSoul Podcast, and I want to come through and say thanks to everybody for tuning in and tapping in and giving us that encouragement to keep doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? I want to let y'all know that I appreciate it. We appreciate it, more than I can articulate, right here and at this moment. But, thanks for everybody, for giving us that encouragement to stay consistent in what we do. So big ups for that. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, actually. I think we getting better every week. We learning, and that's the biggest part of it. We're just learning. I'm learning the audience, and I feel like I'm giving my audience a chance to learn, myself and my mind and how I think. And even, giving myself the opportunity to learn more from y'all with the feedback and the type of interaction that I am getting from y'all. So that's big blessings right there. Definitely for that. Today, I just want to talk about the concept of just returning to home base. Bring your ass home. You know what I mean? That's a big thing that I heard in my childhood, when it came from my mom. My mom made sure she installed that in me, just bring your ass home. Like, you go to school, you come home afterwards. And then go do your thing after that, But bring your ass home, check in, collect yourself, Wash that energy off of you and get ready to go on to your next move. And I'm only using that metaphor right now when it comes to your spiritual health, because, when you outside spiritually all day, I talked about this, I touched on this briefly in the previous episode, but I just wanted to dig in more on it. When you outside spiritually all day, you get the dust of the day on you. You feel me? You getting, other people's energies, intertwined with yours. Just other people's thoughts running through your mind, because you've been out in the world. You've been interacting all day, and I don't think that concept is understood on a universal level of interacting, you're exchanging energy, all throughout the day, every day, you know what I mean? That wears on you, and you have to stay spiritually clean, If you're not giving your spirit a chance to cleanse itself, from everything that it's going through. You gotta go through daily cleansing. Daily cleansing is absolutely necessary, period, point blank. Like, it's just like having a house or having a car. Daily cleansing is necessary. Like, you don't want to have a nice-ass car and it be dirty as hell inside. You know what I mean? It's not going to do that. Like, if you lose track of something and, you're not keeping up with it, eventually, the quality of life or the quality of the ride, the quality of the experience is going to dwindle, and that goes for anything. It's not just for the spirit, but this is the main thing that we're talking about today, when we're talking about spiritual maintenance, which is, one thing that I think I'm finding my niche in, is, kind of preaching about spiritual maintenance, from my point of view. I try not to get, too political with things. I try to stay real free with how I speak and, just, if anything, just to give you like sparks, just to go in your own direction spiritually, on how to, stay clean within, you feel me, to stay spiritually cleansed. Because when that spirit get dusty, I think it's funny, that girls call dudes dusty, like when they don't have their shit together. I think that's hilarious, actually, but those are the niggas, that I feel like, those are the ones where it's like, they calling you dusty. If you getting called dusty, maybe you need to learn to come home a little more, collect yourself, rinse that shit off, you know what I mean? And just, go about your game plan, or even come up with a game plan, Then there's also the other end of it, though, as far as like why it can be hard to come home, because not everybody's blessed with a home. So that's one thing that I do want to be clear that I'm acknowledging, is that not everybody's blessed with a home, to come back home too. So how do you come back home when there is no home, right? And that's kind of like where you really got to find that peace within self. So it's like no matter where you are, you always feel right at home, right where you're supposed to be. a man's gonna have to build his home, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what, And I don't mean to say a man, I just mean to say, like, people, we gotta build our homes, we gotta build our foundation, you know what I mean? That's what one has to do, like, to be able to grow, into anything profitable, into anything, that's gonna flourish. You wanna be able to have solid foundation, and that's like the basics of anything that you wanna do, right? So, I feel like just part of having that strong foundation is, being able to bring your ass home, bring it home, learn how to center yourself, spend time with yourself. I think, just to keep it a stack, like, a lot of us are afraid to spend time with ourselves because, like, at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself, like, sometimes we can get comfortable in the illusion that other people will kind of allow us to live, you know what I mean? Just because on how they view us, maybe we become attached to how other people view us, you know what I mean? And that becomes comfortable to us. So we stay in that image, and we stay locked in there, and to where we never really came home, you know what I mean? Not bad. But yeah, like, we never really came home. So, we got caught up in, that bubble of thinking, just like, hey, this is what the guys like, this is what the girls like, whatever you want to call it. But, or this is what's in right now, blah, blah, or this is what's paying my bills. Sometimes you get caught up in what's paying your bills, you know what I mean? To where it's like, you done lost sight of yourself, or, you haven't come home in so long, you haven't returned to home base in so long, you know what I mean? And I think that, when, like, because that's where stagnant, like, you're going to get stagnant because you outside of yourself. Like, you can't, like, you are your life force. Like, we are our life force, and we got to return back to our own life force, you know what I mean? And learn to harness that energy and feed off of that energy, you know what I mean? Because you're not going to be able to, harness somebody else's life force or somebody else's idea of you, or whatever you're attached to, and we talk about that often. So, like I said, we preach in spiritual maintenance, you know what I'm saying, and nothing else really, so, like I said, cleansing, you want to stay clean, with how you moving, and I think that that's pretty vital to, just the daily upkeep, like, we got daily upkeep of ourselves, things aren't on autopilot, but naturally we go on autopilot, and, like I said, because we're not centered, we haven't come home, we still in yesterday, we're still mentally attached to this event that's about to go on. We're still mentally attached to your labels at work, whatever you may be. You might be the manager, you know what I'm saying? But you bring that home with you. So now, you come home and you the manager at home too. You're not even yourself, you know what I mean? So, it's one of those, like, I feel like that disconnect, you know what I'm saying? Being able to cut the whole world off, you know what I mean? When you come back home, no matter what home is to you, because home is, there's always home within, you know what I mean? So if, you're not really blessed to have that home or space to yourself, there's always that space within. And as long as you spend enough time with it, you'll find your place, you know what I mean? Like, and that's guaranteed, Like I said, the scariest hours can be the ones where you spent alone, because, you got to face your darkest thoughts alone. You got to face yourself alone. And I don't feel like a lot of us are ready to face ourselves, You can't lie to yourself. That's not tolerated. Like I said, it might, you know what I'm saying? That might slide with somebody who don't know you like you know yourself, right? So, sometimes spending time alone is the last thing we want to do, because it all starts to catch up to us, right? So, and everybody goes through it, it's not the best of us do. The sharpest go through that. So that's not even something to be ashamed of, really. It's just understanding that, there's waves to this thing, you know what I mean? And everybody's time comes in waves, everybody's time, everybody's downloads come in waves, right? So, it might click with some of us faster than others, and it might take some of us way longer than others, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, at the end of the day, we talking about spiritual maintenance, and some of us have Like, not even some of us, most of us have really big spirits. You know what I'm saying? But then we think so small of ourselves, so we don't even get a chance to exercise the potential, you know what I'm saying, of our spirits, the potential of our own thoughts. You know, we don't even get a chance to touch on it, you know, because we think so little of ourselves, so limited of ourselves by default, you know what I mean? Just because we're attached to other things, you know what I mean? Not understanding what the self is, you know, because if a lot of us knew what the self really was, if they knew the power in self, you know, I feel like the world would be in a much calmer state, much more peaceful state, because everybody's focus is so on the exterior right now, you know, on what such and such did. Like, we moving out of the age of Pisces, you know, and we're moving into the age of Aquarius, right? So, like, the Pisces, like, you have duality, you know what I'm saying? Cause and effect, yin and yang, you know, but, you know, with the age of Aquarius, you know, it's more of a singular mind focus, right? You know, more of a singularity type, you know, reality, you know, that we're learning, you know, to live in now, you know, with these, you know, ages switching up, you know, right here in the middle of our lives, and we're still young, you know, beings, you know, when we're looking at it, you know. So, you know, switching ages and how the world is functioning, like, as on the mass scale, like, that can also be confusing. So, you know, like I said, we preaching spiritual maintenance, and that's what's going on right now. We in a spiritual experience. So, you know, just understanding how to maintain ourselves right now in the mayhem is really what I feel like I'm here for, you know, with this purpose here, you know, and spiritual maintenance, man. So I want us to just make sure that we staying connected to self, you know, at all cost. Come home, you know what I mean? Like, bottom line, when in doubt, come home. That's one thing that I felt like I knew to do as a kid, you know what I mean? You could be out there, you know, getting into trouble, but it's like when you was in trouble, you went home, like you ran home. It didn't matter from who it was, whether it was from neighbors, whether it was from bullies, whether it was from people that was trying to get you, whether it was the police, it don't matter. Like, I'm running home, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes no matter how bad this situation gets, that's what I'm trying to paint right now. No matter how bad the situation gets, you gotta come home with it. Like, don't be so afraid, you know what I'm saying, to come back to yourself with the bad news. It is what it is, and that's like where acceptance comes in. You know, like, sometimes it's just like, man, I just gotta go home and shake this off. You know, we'll find every excuse in the book not to do that, and then now we compounding mistake after mistake, you know what I mean, because we taking that energy that we've now downloaded, you know, and we dispersing that out into the world. Now we out here, we just spazzing out. And it's like, boom, come home, collect yourself, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing, bro. Like, your parents teach you that, you know, and not everybody has that choice or that privilege, you know, of, or opportunity or experience, you know, to have a parent tell you, oh, come home, bring your ass home. Not everybody went through that. So I understand that as well. All I'm saying is that in this spiritual space, you got to be able to have an anchor, you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to anchor yourself, you know, or try to find, you know, something that anchors you so you can return to it, you know what I'm saying? Whatever can anchor you and anchor yourself, return there, you know what I'm saying? Use that as home base, no matter what it is. It could be the basketball court, it could be the classroom, it could be the courtroom, you know what I mean? As far as, like, you know, you being a lawyer or a judge, not you being, you know, being prosecuted. But, you know, it could be anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, home can be what your heart makes it, you know what I mean? Home is where you feel most comfortable, you know, and that concept of home, and digest that concept of home. And if you don't know what your concept of home is, I suggest you take the time to figure it out, because that's going to give you a lot of closure with how you want to proceed and tackle your, you know, your endeavors in life. You know, it's how you value the home. You know, what is home to you? You know what I mean? And that's going to be able to help you lead your family or your army or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you want to call it, to yourself into the promised land, because you understand what home means for you. You know what I mean? And then you're able to share that concept of home with other beings, you know what I'm saying, inside of love. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we got to really just, you know, download, you know, home base. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, bro, like, you know, you take your trip around the bases just to come back home to the family. You know what I mean? And that's where, and it's like we create our families, whether we were, you know, blessed with families, you know, like our own blood families, or we had to build them with friends, or we had to build them through coworkers, whatever. We're all blessed with the families that we're blessed with. You know what I mean? I'm going to take that time to go ahead and shout out us. You know, I keep saying our sponsors like it's not us, but it is, you know what I mean? We're going to get this cracking right now. You know, right now what I got here, I got Sweet Bay Leaf. Sweet Bay Leaf is great for circulation. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, I'm going to be honest, like, for some reason, like I've been sleeping on my arms. Like, I've been sleeping on my arms lately, and it's like, it be taking them forever to wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? So I felt like I was having some circulation issues or whatever. But to be honest, been drinking on this, and that's kind of helped. You know what I'm saying? But I had to keep it consistent. I was on and off. You know what I'm saying? But I've been more consistent, you know what I'm saying, sipping the tea throughout, you know, this week. You know what I mean? So, well, at least this blend. You know what I mean? So definitely got that. Like, I already got the leaves in there. So everything's just boiling. We just getting it right. I'm gonna let it steep for a second. But yeah, shout out to RichSoul Foods, man. If you guys need, you know, the Sweet Bay Leaf, y'all go ahead and type it in. Code 444 richsoulfoods.com and check us out. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down. But yeah, man, so what I'll say is I want us to be able to come home to our own truth, right? I want us to be able to come home to our insecurities, you know, and I want us to be able to come home to our own fears, you know what I mean, and learn how to eat at the dinner table with all of these things. Like, can you sit at the dinner table with your insecurities? Can you sit at the dinner table with your fears and look these things straight in the eye with absolutely no fear in your heart, with no nothing, no rebuttal in your heart, no none of that? You know what I mean? Can we do that? You know, can we sit down face to face with the things about ourselves that we fear the most and turn that into something that serves us into a positive light? You know, because sometimes home might be the toughest place to be. You know what I mean? As blessed as it is to have a home, home might be the toughest place to be. You might be arguing with your moms within, you know, I'm talking about the arguments within right now, you know? Like, you might be arguing with your pops, or you might be in trouble all the time in school. Like, and right now I'm just using analogies, you know what I mean? Like, you know, situations that people can relate to so they can understand what I'm trying to say. You know, like, sometimes it's like, I understand that home is the last place you want to go, especially when you're not feeling too high on yourself. But, you know, home is the first place you need to go when you're unsure. You need to be able to accept home base no matter what state it's in, and be willing to do what you need to do and do your part to improve your situation at home and within. You feel me? If you having discrepancies with people in your home, within yourself, you feel me? Like, if you within all of this, you know what I'm saying? But if you're having problems with being able to sit down with those parts of yourself, then that's where the patience is gonna have to kick in. That's where the due diligence gotta kick in. Because it take character to be able to sit down with a disagreement or something that you're uncomfortable with, you know what I mean, and work it out. So character is like big in this, because you gotta push through and find and build your own character through your own insecurities and your own failures, your own fears, all of that shit. So it's like, that's one thing that we just gotta respect. Bring it home, face the music, and then remix that shit and go back out into the world. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, it's the beautiful thing about music. You can remix it. You can change it. You know, it's never permanent. You know what I mean? So let's get it. You know, things are always evolving. You know what I'm saying? We're always evolving. You know what I mean? And that's what's blessed. You know, and I just hope that, you know, in this episode, I was able to help people realize the concept of home and how important that is spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Just understanding that concept, valuing that concept. You know what I mean? Most people don't value that concept. And if you don't, then cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, then this isn't for you. But for the ones that value the concept of home base, of home and family, this is for you. You know what I mean? So I just want to go ahead, say thank y'all for joining me today. It's your boy T.O.P. over here with the RichSoul Podcast. And we signing out, man. Thanks. Make sure y'all subscribe. You know what I mean? Leave your comments. Let me know what you guys want to see me talk about. You know what I mean? What I will be trying to do is I'll be trying to get some other little guests coming in here. I got some themes that I want to be able to explore with you guys too. So look out for that. You know, definitely looking forward to being able to bring those experiences to you guys. So, you know, peace and blessings to y'all, man. Much love and much respect. Thanks for tuning in. Holla.